Mi nombre es Marta Aguza Berral, pertenezco a la Universidad de Córdoba y en primer lugar quisiera dar las gracias a la organización de este primer Congreso Internacional Anglesics por permitirme presentar esta ponencia. I am going to switch into English now. So this speech that I have proposed is called Power, Otherness and Empire, Angela Carter's Heroes and Villains Revisited. Here is the table of contents for this presentation. First of all, I will do a brief introduction, then I will explain my theoretical framework, then we will delve into the analysis of the novel, Heroes and Villains, and at the end, I will give you the conclusions that I have reached and also my list of references. First of all, I would like to say that Angela Carter is a postmodern and genre-defying author. Heroes and Villains is a novel that was first published in 1969, and in spite of that, it has not received much of scholar attention. It is a post-apocalyptic and fragmented world, and it has been classified often as science fiction and also like a dystopian novel, but we will analyze it from another point of view. Fiction for Angela Carter is an allegory, and she uses it in order to represent power, identity, and also ideology. The aim of this presentation is to show how the novel functions as an anti-imperialist critique through allegory, through deconstruction, and through liminality. We have a theoretical framework that is pretty much based on Gramsci conceptualization of hegemony and the interregnum. Hegemony is an ideological control and not just done through violence or force, but through the power of the state. And we have interregnum, which is a concept that he coined in order to mean a crisis of meaning where the old dies but the new cannot be born. So we have an interregnum. This is particularly relevant for the analysis because of Carter's setting, which is a collapse of dominant meanings. On the other hand, we have also Edward Said's work on Orientalism and othering. There is a discursive construction of the irrational and the inferior other. Literature can be a side of cultural imperialism, as Said noted, and regarding heroes and villains, there are fictional societies which reflect imperial binaries. We also have Franz Fanon and Chakraborty Spivak theories on psychology and the subaltern. There is an internalized inferiority and also cultural erasure from the state to the other, and violence is a response and is used to control. There is also gender colonialism, as Spivak points in her pivotal work Can the Subaltern Speak? And Angela Carter explores identity through trauma and through transformation. So let us begin with the analysis of the novel. The first point that I want to make is imperial allegory in the novel. So we have different society groups. We have the professors, which are the imperial center, and they stand for order, for hierarchy, and also a kind of militarized peace. They live in villages which are protected from the other groups, and one of the other groups is the barbarians, who may be interpreted as the racialized other. Initially, they appear and they are constructed through discourse as monstrous, but they are later humanized when the protagonist is looks for them and ends up living with them. We have an indoctrination of children because in the very early stages of the novel, the protagonist Marian is speaking and is told that the professors are the heroes and the people that live in the village with the professors are the heroes, but the barbarians are the villains. So there is this binary between heroes and villains, professors and barbarians, the imperial center and the racialized other. So, by these binaries, Carter critiques colonial mythologies of civilization. The second point that I want to make is one that I have already pointed out in the previous section, which are key binaries deconstructed. We have civilized versus savage, reason versus imagination, and self versus the other. What Carter does is to collapse these fixed oppositions through Marianne's transformation and her travel from being the daughter of a professor to being the wife of a barbarian. The allegory is pretty much clear here is that there are no binary that remains stable for a long time. Then I want to make another point on gender, violence, and hybridity. Marianne, the protagonist, is a symbol of the empire's daughter turned a hybrid subject. She is raped by her own husband, Jewel, and gets pregnant, and this may signify an imperial conquest over female body. The barbarians have conquered the female body of the empire. Jewel is her husband and is a warrior, a barbarian, but is a philosophical one. He is literate and he represents both colonized, being a barbarian, and also colonizer by taking over Marianne's body. So hybridity is not liberatory at all, but traumatic and unresolved. And then we have the out people. The out people is another type of group within this society which can be identified as the forgotten subalterns. They are deformed, they are voiceless, they are abject, and they are the true victims of collapse. The out people represent the raised voice of the empire's violence as neither professors nor barbarians engage with their suffering and try to speak to them. The empire's worst legacy is in the silencing of these bodies. Then another point that I want to make is time, knowledge, and power. Time coils back as history is a recursive violence. Professors impose the rational time. Marianne points out that in the professor society, they mark times very much, and this aligns with scientific discourse. Meanwhile, barbarians do not have a measure of time, so in this, they are defying imperial temporality. Knowledge is also ideological, and science can become a religion for professors. Now, the conclusions that I have reached while analyzing this novel is that Heroes and Villains critiques imperial logic at all levels. Allegories poses ideological binaries as constructs. Cultural hybridity emerges, but is fraught with trauma, and empire survives in new forms which are epistemic, affective, and symbolic. Carter refuses closure. The novel has not a closed end, and this mirrors post imperial ambiguity. Here we have a list of shortened references. And I just wanted to thank you all for listening to me, and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding this presentation. Thank you very much.